Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lori, and today we are going to be watching the version 4.4 special program for Genshin Impact. I feel like it's been some time since I've done a Genshin video, like a reaction. So this is really fun, and just to be back to doing these. I think I missed like a preview, or not a preview. I missed a trailer, I think, for a character, but it's fine. I'm back and I'm trying to be more regular with Genshin content again. So yeah, anyway, without further ado, we're just gonna get right into it. Yeah, here we go.
Have you ever heard of Wushou dancing?
Oh, hold on, let me restart it. Okay.
Have you ever heard of Wushou dancing?
Liyue Harbor is always changing, so it is only fitting that Lantern Rite should change in turn.
Wushou dancing is famous in Chunyu Vale. Performers
Oh,
might be invited
let me
to
turn off
promote
the
opening of a business or to spread good fortune during a holiday season.
Miss Farina is now one of my esteemed clients.
Was that Charlotte?
Is that so?
You're quite right, Miss Hutao.
How about we grab some dim sum from Shinya Kiosk? My treat.
This is gaming? Oh my god, wait. Oh, that's so cool. He's like dancing.
Congratulations! Up to it, Manzai!
Oh my gosh. He looks really cool.
A kite is always tied down no matter how far it flies or how high it soars.
Look at them.
O kite born of paper, flying true and sound,
Oh.
a lone traveler wanders, just awaiting to be found.
I always believed we would see each other again.
Wait, what?
That our days of separation
Oh my gosh, she's so pretty.
finally end.
No, but why are they together? What?
Lantern Rite should be a day of reunion.
I don't know. I don't remember.
You chose a path without a future.
Spare mine innocent child. I alone am the source of this sin.
Ooh. I don't want to fight that. I want to. Oh my gosh.
Tried to keep pace.
Look at her. Oh my god. We need some like lore pops in chat. If you are a sub, lore pops in chat for Cloud Rotator. Oh my gosh, wait, she changed into her bird form. Stop. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Wow.
明年一日海灯节要到了，特别是看完版本 PV 之后啊，除了海灯节，我还听到了一些熟悉的名字，比如俏音庄啊。隔了那么久啊，
Wait, do I
终于
need?
要揭晓它的庐山
Maybe I need
真
the
面目
subtitles.
看来大伟哥对俏音庄
Okay, sorry. I was like,
得和你好好
for some reason I thought they had their own. Oh my gosh, this stage is so pretty. What?
Hello travelers, it's your old friend 大伟。
Oh my goodness.
大家好，我是阿然。俏音庄这个名字，大伟哥刚才也说有些印象，对吧？
是啊，
This
虽然
stage
具
is
体在哪儿记不太
gorgeous.
清了，
What the
我的
heck?
印象里是和茶有关。
没错没错，我们陈玉谷的茶庄俏音庄一直都是以乡民猎泉闻名的。身后这个茶府，可以说就是俏音庄香茶广受欢迎的秘宝了。
这么厉害啊。
Oh,
毕竟这个茶
Thank
府
you
相传是先人留下的仙家机关嘛，用它炒出的茶叶，香气和口味确实是挺不一般的。 而且坊间都流传俏英庄的水土得到过仙人的护佑
Thank you
原本就特别适合茶叶生长。哪怕不去考虑仙家机关的加持，茶叶本身的品质就已经非常不错了。
虽然我不是什么品茶的这个专业人士啊，但我知道，同样挑选上等的茶叶，这茶叶啊也会因为各种因素的影响，导致最后味道出现很大差别。听你这么一说啊，我还真挺想尝尝这个仙家机关炒出的茶是什么味道。不过这么特别的茶，会不会很难买啊？
大伟哥放心，想喝到俏英庄的茶，其实并非难事。俏英庄的后山上都是大片大片的茶田，产出的茶也都会销售到璃月港，甚至是其他国家去。而且热情的俏英庄居民本身就很喜欢喝茶，也很乐于用好茶来招待客人呢。比方说，你要是遇到佳明，他肯定得把松萝仙芽、油韵单丛等等好茶都给你泡上尝尝。
谢谢佳明。还有啊，说到佳明这个名字啊，听着就很亲切。
佳明他的性格热情健谈
Oh, it's
大家也都很
pronounced
喜欢和他相
Jaming?
处
Is it
虽然说
Jaming?
他的老家是在俏
I
英庄
I hope
但
that
他
I'm
人却
I'm
经常在
pronouncing
璃
it
月港和仪龙部两地
correct.
之间往返。他的主业是镖师，还有个副业是表演武术戏。
还有副
Gaming.
业啊
Okay.
年轻人的精神比较好。
那我猜啊，副业才是他真正想做的事吧？
大伟哥，你好会猜。佳明的确非常喜欢武术
He's
戏，
so
并且把表演
cute.
武术戏当做自己梦想的事业。但他在这过程中还是吃了不少苦头，还跟家里人闹得不太开心。不过佳明对武术戏还真不是3分钟热度，他骨子里还是个很有坚持的人。他坚定地想要表演好武术戏，在璃月港甚至更远的地方做出成绩。这也是为了证明给家里看吧。
He's
最
trying
终
to
他
prove
离开
himself to
了
his
家，去追求
family.
梦想。虽然现在的生活有点辛苦，但佳明自己还算过得开心。
哎呀，感觉他真的很有冲劲和闯劲啊！有机会还真挺想去看看他的武术戏。
机会说不定已经近在眼前了哦。
哦，这感情好啊！
佳明这么喜爱武术戏，他的技能天赋当然也和他有关了。要不然我就先给大伟哥介绍介绍，也算是提前满足一下你的好奇了。
原来是这么个近在眼前啊！可以可以。
Oh,
Whether it
gotcha.
takes
Okay.
me uphill, downhill, or out to the sticks, I get the goods from A to B. I'll even take him across the sea if needed. So don't worry, you're in safe hands. They don't
He's
call me
so
the gold standard guard for
cute.
nothing.
Oh, he's using a claymore. I just now noticed that. Oh my god, that is
Congratulations!
actually
Up
so
to it, Monsai.
cool. What?
佳明会将自己的武术之法应用在各种场合。战斗中，佳明高举兽手向前腾跃，在接触到目
I
标
love his
或
little
地形
hair.
时
He's
向
so
上腾空起跳
cute.
此时能进行格外强劲的下落攻击，对敌人造成火元素伤害。
Yeah, I was gonna say I love that there's whatchamacallit, that there's another
好在佳明有好
performer.
伙伴文仔的协助，当他在施展灿焰金泥舞，召唤出文仔出场时，佳明将会恢复一定生命值，并造成火元素范围伤害。和文仔合力表演精彩的武术戏，当文仔和佳明汇合时，还能帮助佳明恢复力气，让他的元素战技瑞兽登高楼能够立刻再次使用。武兽态势持续期间，只要佳明状态上佳，还可再次唤出文仔登场助力。
好精彩啊！这战斗啊，真像看了一场武术戏。
能让大伟哥有这样的观感就太好了。在创作佳明的过程中，
Oh, he's using
我们学
Blackcliff?
习并借鉴了武师这门传统文化中的很多元素，比如跳跃、蹲桩、打滚、弓步、扣步等等，再和现代元素相结合，想要为大家呈现出一种具有霓虹质感和火焰包裹的全新武术系。
焰光舞狮，有心了有心了，我感觉啊，确实挺新奇的。
另外，战斗聚焦在跳跃这个核心元素上呢，也是想给大家传达一种步步高升的节庆氛围。
His
还有文仔
animations
的
are
加
like
入
really
也希望
unique.
在
Like
补
they're
足
so
联机互补
pretty.
的
I
同
love
时
them.
呈现出双狮合舞的感觉。
这要是再敲个锣、打个鼓啊，喜庆的节日感一下子就出来了啊！
是呀，而且说到海灯节，今年也有一位老朋友要来和我们一起过节。
我知道，那个女人，
没错
Lady
就是
Bird
那个女人。 流云借风真君，果然大家都很喜欢
As
她。
expected, everyone loves her. So
说到流
true.
云真君啊，我想起来刚才收到了个消息啊，项目的同学给我发了个流云借风真君的视频，说是看完后能更了解她。我还没来得及看来着，
来得早不如来得巧啊！
来和大家一起来看看。
Oh my gosh, this is so cool to see like the developers and stuff in like the office. Oh my god, I love this.
进度已经接近尾声了，或许大家和我一样，也想知道研发同学们对这个角色有怎样的看法。那现在就让我们一起去采访一下他们吧。哎，同学，能和我们聊一聊制作闲云这个角色的初衷吗？
其实很久以前啊，我们就有了将流云借风真君化作人形游历世间的想法。
Really? They've had the idea for a
海
while?
灯节，为了让它就是出现在今后的故事里面更加自然、更加顺畅吧，我们就借这次机会呢，去把它的形象制作出来，并且给它起了一个更加
My
适合
God
在人世间行走的名字，叫闲云。
在原神的玩法里，还是有很多可以挖掘的潜力。我就以下路攻击来举例吧。其实这个玩法在我们游戏中一直都存在，但其实在实战中很少有角色能应用得出来。所以这一次我们想尝试制作一个角色，它自身不仅有特殊的下路攻击，同时还能够把这个玩法推广到更多的角色身上，并在实战中加以运用。
因为我自己
Wait, what?
喜欢在大世界里乱跑，所以想做一个快乐的跑图人。
我们特效能够在
Oh my god, not them forgetting about Wanderer.
会很帅的。
He's fun to explore too. Not the erasure.
谁不喜欢那个女人呢？
因为组织
I'm just being dramatic.
我不知道。
当然了，在制作的过程中，我们也会遇到一些问题。
啊？什么问题？闲云又出 bug 了？
机关术当时做起来其实并不是很容易，因为它不能太有科幻感，同时呢又要保持它的高级感。
闲云的动作，它既要仙气飘飘，同时也要兼顾工科女的感觉。
在打磨元素战技的过程当中遇到过一些问题。有节奏的释放元素战技其实是它的核心操作策略。
移动方面，既要考虑空中的位移，又要考虑落地衔接的各种表现，还要考虑美术位移和程序位移之间的平衡关系。
元素战技在俯冲下来的时候很难观察到敌人。
变鹤冲击的镜头开始还是挺眩晕的，
提升了我的抗眩晕等级。
不过整体感觉
I guess they had some issues. Oh my god, not the sigh from the animator.
玩家们说说呢？
希望在4.4版本呢，我们大家都能从忙碌的生活中找到属于自己的清静，也希望大家能够喜欢上闲云小姐的故事。
祝大家今年海灯节快乐！
希望大家多多玩原神，
祝大家都能抽到自己想要的角色。
I feel like they're calling me out.
享受跑图的乐趣。
Hope everyone plays Genshin Impact more this year.
别骂了，别骂了，求求了，求求了。
Don't be too hard on
不过
us.
挺有意思的，希望有更多小伙伴一起加入原神。
不要和闲云握手，那是仙人掌。
那就给旅行者们拜个早年吧。
希望原 bug 区的 UP 主们能让我们过个好年。
那么今天的采访就到这
I
里
love
结束了
that so many of them were like,
如果有喜欢
help
闲云这个角色
us.
大家再见。
That was actually really cute.
不愧是那个女人，就连制作幕后都这么有个性。说起来，这还是她第一次以人形的样貌见我
Just
们。
look at her.
她这副打扮虽然之前出现过，不过在我们面前大大方方的走来走去，确实还是第一次。
看来这里面又有故事。那她今年打算怎么过节呢？
这就要说到我们今年海灯节的主题——风筝。现在人间的机关造物可是越来越稀奇
She's
古
so
怪了。
pretty.
这也不算什么稀奇古怪吧？
之前的确实不算，但今年从枫丹那边引进了神奇的机械装置，能够让风筝无风自起，飞得又高又稳。
你这么一说，我就懂了。流云借风真君一定是起了莫名的攀比心吧？什么枫丹科技，肯定比不过本仙的发明创造。
看来大伟哥真的很熟悉这位老朋友啊，完全正确。
那个女人太可爱了。
是呀，她虽然脾气不小，但性格一点也不差。
She has quite a temper. I'm
又
obsessed.
富有侠
I
义心
love
肠
her.
有时候好像有些心口不一， 有时候又还有一点脱线。
Oh my gosh, she's
可
just
她的
like
幽
me.
默总是能让人印象深刻。
Just like me, her sense of humor is
虽然
always
是个生人
memorable.
但非常有亲切感，真像是一位热心的邻居。
在流云借风真君以闲云之名正式入驻璃月港，成为我们的邻居之前，他到底经历了些什么？大伟哥肯定也很好奇他过去的故事吧？哎呀，我的聊天讲故事的本事肯定没他好，不如到时候亲自去找他了解一下。就让我们一起期待海豚节
Yo, I'm
以
so
及
behind
显
in
赫之
story
章。
quests. I have
可以
got to get it
每次
together.
有流云真君的剧情啊，都挺欢乐的，我很期待。哦，我们是不是该改口叫她闲云了？
没错，那我也
Does
来
anyone know how to
分享一下
pronounce? How do you
闲云在
pronounce
战
her
斗时的
name?
风采吧。
The secrets of the mechanical arts are too profound to convey in a few simple words. Oh, but why must the listener grow weary whenever I begin to divulge them? Skyward!
Oh my gosh, her little hippity hops. Oh, that's so cool. What the heck?
Gray clouds converge!
流云借风真君这个称号，再加上鹤的外形，不难让人联想出轻盈御风的仙人形象。闲云能进行至多3次的特殊跳跃
What the heck?
并且能根据具体情况在后
The
仰转中
animation
选
for
择地面
that
释
is
放
so
或是在空中释
cool.
放这个过程中还能化形为鹤，进行特殊的下落攻击。
Are you
不
kidding
仅如
me?
此，闲云更能轻唤先锋，召唤自己引以为傲的发明创造机关烛心，在持续恢复同伴生命值的同时，也能御风助推，让同伴获得轻盈的跳跃能力，提升跳跃的高度，并在同伴完成下落攻击时造成风元素范围伤害，让整个队伍都如有先助。
How come like
看起来很有
animo
意思啊
characters are
身形
always
轻
so
盈
freaking
来去
cool?
如风，而且还能为大家提供协助，就像是一位默默关照他人的热心长辈。
是的，希望能把闲云
This
的
is
这
why I
份
have
融合
my
魅力传递给
my
大家。
animo vision
那除了这两
right
位
here
有趣的角色之
because
外，这次我们还有机会邀请到哪
you
些
know
角色入队呢？
what can I
那就来
say?
看看4.4版本的活动祈愿吧。在4.4版本，闲云与纳西达将会在第1期活动祈愿中
In
出
phase
现
one
并提升获取概率，同时佳明的获取概率也将大幅
Oh, okay,
提升
cool, cool, cool that they're on the
全
same
新武器马戏
banner.
鹤鸣余音也将出现在同期的武器活
Stop!
动祈
That
愿中。
weapon is so
在第2期
pretty.
活动
What
祈
the?
愿中，萧和8重神子
Oh,
也将迎来复刻
Zhao and
复
Yai
活的
are
概率
coming
2。
back.
那我的分享就告一段落了。
Yeah,
大伟哥可以
animal
去移动部
characters
那边
are
看看，
really
那里还会有其他
cool.
同事来和大伟哥讲讲陈玉谷的故事。
好的好的，也谢谢阿然的分享。那么在去仪龙部之前、
Little
啊，
hippity
我们先来看
hops
看第一组兑换码吧。
Redemption code. I have got to actually redeem these, y'all. I keep forgetting. Makes sense. Zhao is also back. Yeah. Right. Every animo character is so fun to play. So fun to play. Like, just catching up on chat a little bit. I know. I would love the baby stories about Ganyu and Shenhe. More baby stories. Hope she whips out the photo albums and everything. She's a Capricorn for sure. Oh man, yeah, that's right. We need to do the figure out what they are in terms of astrology. You guys come back to Genshin. Yeah, they really did put a lot of effort into, well, I feel like into both characters, into Gaming and also Cloud Retainer. They're just so pretty, like the animations for their fighting styles and stuff. Just catching up. I forgot Dendra existed. You know what? It's totally okay. Because, like, Mint, you said that you hadn't been playing, right? So, like, you're valid. Like, he's, like, wearing green, so you just never know. Dendra or Animo, you know? Understandable. They might have expired. No, they shouldn't. They expire, what, in like less than 24 hours? Oh, it says, yeah, 120. Yeah, I'm good. I'll probably do it this evening. Yeah, the weapon is really pretty. With where Dendro and Genshin 2, right. Hi, UK. Wait. It's expired? Huh? Is that real? You just got them in the app? Okay, because, like, hold on. Yeah, let me go to the website, actually. What is it? Wait, don't we have a command? Wow. Oh, that is so pretty. You know what? This entire preview, pretty. I feel like I'm gonna repeat myself a lot, but like they do such a good job. It's gorgeous, everything they do with like the staging and the characters and all of like their set pieces and I'm obsessed. I'm gonna redeem the codes really quick while we're.
大伟哥，你感觉成玉谷的景色怎么样？
我还没看到太多，目前感觉还挺美的，有种。
They're still good because I just redeemed.
大伟哥还挺敏锐，成玉谷这里流传着很多与仙人有关的传说，还真有点世外桃源的味道。
是吧？而且目前看来啊，成玉谷这边的人文建筑好像都有点徽派建筑的味道。
没错没错，就拿俏音庄来说吧，它依山傍水，因势而建，附近还有不少溪流河川，而徽派建筑这种白墙黑瓦、色彩分明的特点就更是锦上添花，让村落
I just realized, is this a new area?
说起水，
Or
成玉谷
or
这
no
个水还挺多的，一路上大大小小的溪流河川可是真不少。仪陇部这里啊，还有条
Oh my god, this is a new area.
很磅礴啊。
确实，这就得给大伟哥讲讲仪陇部这里流传的传说了。
哦，
大伟哥应该知道，璃月港的人们都相信这片土地最早的主人就是阎王爷。先民正是跟随着阎王帝君，在他的护佑下，才建立起了繁荣的城市和港口。
听起来还有个但是。
没错，但是在成玉谷也有人相信，除了阎王爷以外，还有别的魔神和众仙保佑着成玉谷先民的祖先。比如说啊，在仪陇部这里，大家都听过一个传说，关于一位名叫福锦的鲤鱼仙人。
Fujin
有不少鲤鱼形状的灯啊，应该也是出于这个原因吧。
Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
在当地的传说中啊
That's so cool that they're adding an entire new area.
而且仪陇部衔接着枫丹，是两国
Alright, I
之
just
间
redeemed
重
all
要
my
的
codes
交
just in
通贸易
case.
枢纽。嘉明
I was like, I don't want to lose them.
剑峡标局就在仪陇部，可以看到仪陇部本身的地势非常高，自古就是座难以攀援的高山。
Listen, I love Liyue too. This was my favorite place to explore and spend time
迁居
in.
至此，形成了新的居落。为了解决这瀑布高悬带来的不便，人们修建了一座高大的水力升降机。
I got the
原来如此
waterfall.
成果还真是壮观啊！
是呀，而且这瀑布之下还有一条蜿蜒曲折的大河，贯穿整个成玉谷。
既然已经说到了这条河，我们沿着河川看过去，大伟哥应该也注意到了河道上
The
那对
river is
巨大
so
的玉珏了
magical
吧
too. What
那
the
里就是
heck?
宝觉口，算是成玉谷中最有名的地标之一了。
是呀，这对玉珏应该也是过去的仙人留下的吧？像这么壮观又瑰丽的景色，应该也只有仙人能创造出来吧？
传说宝觉口的这对玉珏，就是仙人为了保护
My
人民
God
防洪治涝而投下的。
哈哈，心系人民的仙人确实还挺值得大家敬爱啊！这里的种种传说啊，听上去感觉还挺浪漫的。
是的，我们也来看看成玉谷的其他地方吧。像灵蒙山是历史悠久的古华派的发祥之地，药蝶谷和悬链山就分别是传说中白蛇和鲤鱼仙人的住所。还有南方的赤章成园是属于昔日。
Y'all, I'm about to 100% this place before I even 100% like Fontaine and Sumeru, and they've been out for like what? For a while. My God.
说不定就散落在这雾气缭绕的高山之间呢。
你别说，成玉谷也有不少高山，但我总感觉和以往常见的璃月山岩还不太一样。
成玉谷这边的山岭更像是峰峦叠嶂的黄山，
So pretty.
这些山峦的颜色好像是水墨画一样，时不时还会有一抹灵动的青色晕染，再加上山岭之间还藏着各种各样的奇特景观，我就觉得呀，成玉谷之所以会有这么多仙人的传说流传后世，和这种独一无二的地理风貌应该是密不可分的吧？
感觉是这个道理。大自然还真有鬼。
Okay, so I'm like not trying to be like dramatic, but like I'm probably gonna sound really dramatic. But I think this is probably like the most excited I've been about an area in a long time. Like I was excited about Fontaine, like I was so about Sumeru, but like I really loved Liyue. And like just the aesthetic and how it was designed, and like this is right up my alley. Like I'm very excited about this. I don't want to fight the puppy.
但若是有人贸然闯入他们的领地，打扰了他们的安宁，也是会被毫不留情地赶出。
Yeah, I get it. Like I would be fighting people too if they woke me up.
顺带一提，以农部家喻户晓的武兽戏，这就是以传说中离兽的形象为原型进行的表演。佳明身边的文仔其实也是离兽哦。
看来这之间也有故事啊。
那就来看看隐山离兽的故事吧。
Oh, that's quite the inquiry, Gaming.
So are the stories true, sir?
Patience now.
That's so cute!
Any discussion of this beast must first begin with Chen Yu Vale, a land of tiered peaks shrouded in billowing mist, replete with stories of illuminated.
Oh my God, I'm going through it. I'm really excited about
this. Subject of your curiosity, let us call it the solitary Swan-Ni. It is a symbolic and auspicious animal, said to be related to the Adepti. Legends say the Swan-Ni traverses the land under the cover of mist. Its presence nearly indetectable, save only for the faintest outline of horns. When at ease, it rests with its eyes closed.
Is it a mermaid puppy? Mermaid kitty?
Should the situation turn dangerous, the fury of the Swan-Ni will be unleashed. It moves with the swiftness of windswept clouds and attacks with the ferocity of a roaring waterfall. But some people say this time of peace has forced the Swan-Ni into a life of seclusion far beyond our reach. Still, those are just a few old legends I've heard in my time.
I know, I love this art style.
Might prove tricky, no?
It's like anything. Practice makes perfect. I just gotta work at it. You see? Manzai agrees with me.
成玉谷这么一下子是讲不完的。
It's paper art.
成玉谷的水土发生了一些变化，就连香茶的气味也变得不如从前了。 到时候还烦请各位旅行者跟随仙人的指引，帮助解决困扰俏英庄居民的茶叶问题吧。
再次感谢2位同学给我们带来了这么精彩的成语谷介绍以及传说故事。
Hi, Chris.
那接下来我们稍作休息，准备了解一下今年海灯节的活动吧。那在这之前
Ooh,
呢
okay.
还请
It's redemption
看看
code
第二
time.
组兑换码吧。
Yeah, all of the codes work because I just redeemed mine, so they haven't expired yet. If you're having problems, then it's like something else. It's something else. That was so pretty. Oh my gosh. I know. Shenhan got you. Is she wearing? Wait, are they wearing different outfits? I just realized they're wearing different outfits. Are we getting skins for them? They're so pretty. I love Ganyu's. She's got little flowers in her hair. I love this art. I know, it's so pretty. Mondstadt, Lue, and Fontaine, yeah.
各位欢迎回来，接下来啊就让
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not rerunning Ganyu and Shenhe.
大伟哥好呀！
哎，你好你好，听了刚才的一些铺垫啊，我还真挺期待今年海灯节的。今年都会有一些什么样的惊喜呢？
那么我就来抛砖引玉一下。刚才阿然也提到，今年海灯节的主题是风筝，还将璃月的传统手工艺风筝与枫丹的械动式垂直拉升装置进行了结合。
机械风筝，不知道和流云真菌的机关比起来，哪个技术力更强啊？
这可不好说呀。
哎，我小时候也放过风筝，但其实我对风筝了解不是特别多。为什么会选用风筝来当主题呢？
我想可能是它能承载人们众多的美好祝愿吧。
这倒是
They're a symbol of hope.
异曲同工之妙啊。
这么一说，风筝还真就像是白天的肖灯。
Oh my god, are we gonna get a bunch of kites that we can like shoot in the air like we did with the Zhao lanterns? Which they never re-released, so I'm hoarding the rest of mine.
飞鸟启发，创作了风筝，表达对美好生活的追求。
哎，是啊，我以前放的也是燕子风筝。
不过现在已经有很多不同样式的风筝了，一些具有吉祥寓意的图案还挺受欢迎的，比如锦鲤、龙凤、彩蝶，这些图案都很有特色。除了表达美好的祝愿，也能让看到的人们感受到祝福。
而且放风筝本身也是非常有益身心的活动。
是的，大伟
Oh,
哥
hopefully a
也可以先
gadget.
来海灯节里体验体验。
而且在今年海灯节上，甘雨和申鹤将会穿着流云借风真君请人特别定制的新衣装，来和大家共度佳节。
没错。 同时，行秋也准备了一套新衣装。
There's a new outfit for Shincho.
达到特定目标就能够免费获得。都想快点入手新衣装了，那我赶紧来讲讲今年海灯节上都有一些什么有意思的活动吧。
好嘞
I know.
今年海灯节上主要有3个游玩活动，分别是
Picture day outfit for Shincho.
异光云行。
感觉光听名字就能有一个模糊的概念了。
他们的各种传统文化。
So Shincho's is free,
也在学习
but I'm.
好，快讲讲。
Did they already say if
推陈出新法？
Shenhe and Ganyu were going to be paid?
指影巡谣吧，拆解名字的话
Or wait, are they all going to be
指影的
going to be
形
free?
式来寻觅佳肴。璃月有一种流传已久的艺术——指映剧，灵活运用画片和灯具，可以让画面在幕布上活起来。再结合枫丹的映影相关技术，改编成一种新颖的互动游戏， 叫做剪纸戏，主要会讲述些简单明快的故事，让观众们会心一笑。
我大概有概念了啊，结合这张锅巴和月桂的图啊，这出剪纸戏应该是引导锅巴和月桂去找食材来做美食的故事吧？
哎，被大伟哥猜对了。
没错没错，这个活动玩法呢，操作上比较简单，老少皆宜。我们需要控制锅巴和月桂进行移动，在特定的步数限制下解开谜题。
Oh, it's one of these games.
最
Okay.
后一起收集到食材，就可以成
This
功
is
烹饪
yeah.
出各
This
种美味
isn't too
佳肴了
bad.
这个规则是不是看起来还蛮简单的？
的确，门槛不高，玩一遍应该就会了，确实很有节庆气氛。
不过呢，也不要太过小看这个游戏了。在后几关挑战中，可能
Yeah,
需
I
要
love
引
these
导
little
锅巴与
puzzles.
月桂互相配合，
Where you have to like
比如
move in a
让锅巴
certain
去推动
amount.
月桂乘坐的小车，这样月桂
I'm
就能在
saying
不同
I'm
的起
still
始点
waiting for the food
也
events.
能节省下一些
It's been like what?
有意思，像是
Like 3 years.
第二个活动瑞兽欢悦，是武兽队在武兽
It's
系
been
的
like
基础上
3
进行了简
years,
化，
and we
以
have
及
not had a
趣味性
rerun of
改
the
良
food
的通关武兽
events.
系玩法。希望大家能够在茶余饭后活动活动，同时也能
Like,
亲身
I'm
感
about to
受
say
一下
something
武
that
兽
I
系的
might
魅力。
regret.
哎，不错哎，武兽戏啊，
But
看着就挺有意思的。
if they bring the
但要
food
自己
event
去体验
back,
武兽
okay, if they bring
还
it
是有点
back,
高的。那这个趣味活动
catch me
啊
playing
说不
Genshin
定
Impact
能给我们
more
带来不一样的
often
火花。
这个火
on
花
stream.
可是靠碰撞出来的哦。这个活动共有
But
3
they
个关
won't
卡
do it.
立式连连来、时节竞登高和彩青征集照。
They
我
won't
们
do
可以
it
通
for
过匹
me.
配让
I
店
thought I
家
was the
帮忙组织
favorite.
也可以自行邀请亲朋好友组团游玩。当进入关卡场地后，我们需要在限定时间内达
Are
成
we
不同的关
boxing?
卡目
Oh,
标
I thought we were
尽可
like
能取得更高的
boxing.
评分。
I don't know why I thought we
在
were
这个过程中
boxing, but
还可
like
以
we were
穿戴
entering a
特制的
ring.
武
So
兽系玩偶
this
服
is
进入
like
武兽
bumper
碰碰状态
cars.
弹
It's
开
not
触
bumper
碰到的
cars,
其他玩家
but it kind of reminds me of bumper cars.
确
But it's
实
really
很欢乐
cute.
而且在游玩过程中还可以稍微使点小坏。
Listen, I think that we should do this so we can take out our aggression on each other.
他们大概宁愿不去抢积分，
Like
也要
not to
来
be
谈谈我
violent,
那也不
but
能
I want to
光顾着
send
使
someone
坏啊
flying.
3个关卡还是有一些特定规则的，比如立式连连来最容易上手，最重要的目标就是去争夺尽可能多的立式茶饼，去弹开别的玩家也能获得他掉落的茶饼。时节竞登高，还额外要去抢占时不时出现的高地来保持豪气值。同时，也可以通过弹开别的玩家。
Oh my god, this reminds me of oh my god, what is
彩
that
青征集照的话
that
主要
one
是需要
event where
前
you were
往
like
时不时
pushing
刷
people
新的安
off?
全区域里，规避掉麻辣气氛的影响，从而保持
The
清
super
淡值。
spicy
当然
spirit?
既然出现了安全区域，
也就是说可以去弹开别的玩家，让他进不了安全区域。
I can't believe they've added PvP
好像
to
大伟
Genshin
哥
Impact.
已经懂了，领先损友一步。
It's about
最后
time.
一个活动异光云行，
We're so back.
我们可
We're
以
so
借
back,
助
y'all.
金里符月的
I've
力
been
量
waiting for
在烟花
PvP.
绽放的空中穿梭，并在这个过程中收集尽可能多的玉莲灯笼来积累得分。还请放心，金里会一直保护我
Oh,
们
we've okay,
不会
we've
让烟
done
花伤害到
this
我们的。
before.
化为
This is
经理
this is
穿梭于
super
烟花绽
easy
放
and
的
fun
夜
though.
空中，听起来就很浪漫。
The wind blew one, yes, because I'm pretty sure that was a bug where I was able to like use Jean's skill to push somebody off because they fixed it. Yay, we get to invite. Oh, that's right, we can get a free gaming.
其中也包括我们的新朋友佳明哦。累计登录活动富贵登门也会在海灯节
We
期
got
间
our
开放
login events.
旅行者们可以领取最多10枚纠缠之源在内的奖励。同时，为了感谢旅行
Oh
者
my
们
gosh,
在过
look
去
at
1
them
年
on
里
the
的支持
right. I
与陪
can't get
伴
over
我们还将
Shincho's
通过邮件内邮件
skin.
的方式为旅行者们奉
That
上
outfit
3个
is
纠
so
缠之
like
源。
distinguished. He looks
希
like a
望
little
在这海灯
gentleman.
佳节之际，大家都能放飞承载梦想与祝愿的风筝，乘风到达理想的地方。
没错，也祝愿各位能和亲朋好友一同享受欢乐的时光。
说的对啊，不过我们的节目还没有结束，让我们先休息一下，看看第3组兑换码吧。
Oh, that's really pretty too. I feel like this lantern ray is gonna be like maybe not sad, but like really emotional. Like I get really emotional during lantern ray anyway because it's very nostalgic. It just reminds me of when I first started playing Genshin, and like even though like I played like day 1, but like for some reason lantern ray just feels really nostalgic. And I feel like it's gonna be emotional. Only 13 fates. I didn't catch this earlier. What happened to the 10 via mail? Oh wait, did they change it? Yeah, I'm gonna get Gaming as well. Not to be violent, but I'm about to spin Jaws. Wait, is Raptor coming back to Genshin? Because yeah, didn't they say they'd come back to Genshin if they made Cloud Retainer playable? Aiden. Yeah, I know. It's really unfortunate because like I'm about to tell the truth. I'm about to be honest. But the food event was the best event of all time. And they're doing everyone a disservice that did not get to play it. It's really sad, actually, and like that's so mean. Like I think everyone should experience the greatness of the food delivery event. That was slandering me. Raptor, did you say that you'd come back to Genshin if they made Cloud Retainer playable? The one that had people traumatized of that one boat. Was there a boat? Like basically you had to pick up the food and you had to do it within a time limit and you had to not like get wet or something. Like it was a whole thing. You missed all the fun. It was honestly so great. People are lying if they tell you it was bad. Like they're lying to you. And like, I think it's because they're trying to gatekeep how fun it was, which is so sad. This is really pretty. What kind of instrument is that? That is so cool. My goodness. An Eru? Oh, am I saying it right?
哎，大伟哥，你知不知道，璃月现在已经吸引到越来越多不同地区的。
I also say I'm gonna review Bob Google Classroom.
上次温迪不就来海灯节了吗？怎么说？今年又有新面孔？
是啊，是啊。今年的话，不仅有一些朋友会来璃月共度海灯节，还有其他熟人来到了望舒客栈。
哦，
这是来尝璃月菜来了。
虽然可能初衷不是这个。 但就结果来看，确实是这样。起因其实是我们接下了望舒客栈的委托，暂时接手受伤的颜笑，成为了望舒客栈的代理大厨，满足远道而来的客人们对璃月佳肴的好奇心。
让我想到了一句老话
，It's a food event,
自远方来
but are we delivering it?
蒙德、道期、须弥和枫丹都会有我们熟悉的朋友们前来。至于他们的目的以及在这里发生了什么。 就请各位旅行者届时亲自去揭晓答案吧。
They didn't go into detail about it.
露一手，让他们尝尝地道的璃月菜了。
那肯定了，我们需要连续进行。
Oh no, it's cooking, Mama.
3个步骤来烹饪出符合客人需求的菜肴。
This ain't the food delivery event.
菜品进行摆盘装饰，就可以。
Stop! We get to like put it. And to place it and to make it really pretty.
最近蒙德也正发生着一些神秘事件。
Yeah, it's very Cooking Mama coded.
导致丘丘人部落中的丘丘人们突然变得举止反常起来。
这时候就需要我们前去调查其中暗藏的真相和秘密了，对吧？
没错，大伟哥已经是一位非常优秀的旅行者了，
毕竟也旅行了这么久。
我们需要先操控乌帕诺之眼，依附在丘丘人与风史莱姆身上，潜入部落营地中。 同时需要小心的避开或者干扰那些能识破我们伪装的丘丘萨满。
We're infiltrating their camps.
神秘的雕像，
这潜行看起来好流畅哦。
调查完雕像后，我们将能造访幽深的秘境，等待我们的将是一只体格异常硕大的丘丘萨满。
Oh my God! Not us infiltrating their camp and then beating up their leader's ass.
转化为我们的武器进行反制。
At least I think that's what we're doing.
召唤的6倍大日落果， 使他在地面残留的果汁中摔倒，把他召唤的卷心菜朝他打回去，眩晕住他。还有利用他召唤的大型风
Oh
场
my god, not
飞
us,
起来
not the
并使用下路攻
cabbages.
击的冲击波战胜他等等。
That's so disrespectful.
听起来很刺激啊！
除了丘丘人部落的神秘雕像，在波诡云谲的秘境深处，还有其他来历成谜的敌人正在蓄势备战。每个挑战包含4轮战斗。
Oh wait,
在不
have
同
we
战
done
斗
this one
轮次中
before? This
我们
sounds
可以从
familiar.
数名随机的试用角色中选择2或4位加入队伍。每名角色初始具有2点战役值，每出战1轮就会损失1点。同时，每个挑战都具有独
I
特
feel like we've
的
done this
激荡
before.
战役，会根据队伍中角色战役值的总和提供特定效果。我们需要留意该效果，并合理加以利用，最终完成挑战，获取奖励。
感觉可以借助试用角色去尽情尝试一些新的配对和战略。
对的，希望旅行者能享受不同的配对带来的战斗体验。除此之外，7圣召唤也有一些更新，除了常规的热斗模式更新。
Look at the.
7圣
Oh my
召唤
gosh,
的
I
入境
think
颜面
Christian
也将
is not
再次
here
开放
anymore, but
旅行者可以
I
选择
hope
不同的
he
附加
freaks
条
out
件
about the
获
Toma
取积
card.
分来
The
领取
Toma
奖
card
励
looks so good.
其次，精通已有活动也将如期而至，需要培养角色的旅行者们不要错过哦。最后，说到培养角色，针对圣遗物的养成体验也在
Is he
持续
freaking
优化
out?
中
Wait, he probably hasn't seen it
本次
yet.
增加了圣遗物快速装
I
备
don't
的
know when he
新功
started
能
if he's watching the
旅行者可以
preview,
选
but I
择
feel like
自定义方案
he's
或是参考
he's gonna be
其他
really
旅行者
excited
的
about
方案
that.
更方便的装备圣遗物哦。
感觉很实用哎，期待一下。也感谢阿明。
Oh, he has? Okay.
大伟哥客气了，预祝大家海灯节快乐！
海灯节快乐
Happy Lantern Rights.
除了提瓦特的朋友们与我们共度佳节，提瓦特之外，也有其他朋友用自己的方式给我们准备了惊喜。婷妮见光，尽显锋芒。原神与一加手机的全新联动，一加原神氪情定制机将在2月底与大家见面。
A phone?
旅行者在移动设备
There's gonna be a coaching phone.
原神项目
She's
团队推
she
出了
looks
游戏
so
状态
pretty.
技术，协同手机厂商一起来优化设备性能。
Oh my
提高原神在
goodness.
手机上的运行表现。在氪情定制手机上，一加技术团队啊
Miss
基于
Ma'am
对话
has her
技术
own
进行了深度的
keyboard.
适配与实验
She's getting her own
推出了包括原神
phone.
加载提速、后台网络保活、功耗优化在内的移动
I forget what
游戏
else
体验调
she
优
had,
啊
but
目
I
前
know she
会
has
在
her own
更多设备
keyboard,
上应
like
用
an official
除
keyboard.
了技术优化之外啊，有关联动定制机的外观设计、理政周边等细节啊，允许我先卖个关子。
No
手机官方账号将在后续公布更多活动详情，那感兴趣的旅行者可以前往关注。除此之外，4.4版本期间，《原神》第2章枫丹篇 OST
Ooh
万流始源之海也即
Oh, have they made several
专
phones?
辑共
Okay.
有3张分碟，共收录60余首由 Hoyo Mix 音乐团队为《原神》枫丹地区创作的原声音乐，旅行者们敬请期待。
I need to see if they restocked the because I think there is a Genshin vinyl.
吉祥、繁荣、幸福、顺利等等。
I need to see if they restocked it on
此
AmiAmi.
次旅行者游历成玉谷，还会有鲤鱼仙人辅警的指引相伴。我代表原神项目组，带着对各位旅行者的感谢与祝福，愿各位旅行者年年安康，诸事顺利，鱼跃龙门，亦有期。
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's why I kind of feel like it's going to be emotional because of a new Adeptus. Because every time that we have like an Adeptus story, it always it gets a little emotional.